Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. I don't know why my hype levels are so high. We're talking about pretty bad news, so let's go ahead and simmer down just a wee bit. So we're talking about an RPG on the channel that honestly has been discussed so much by the audience, and it's a part of the RPG genre, the World of Darkness, that I've just really neglected for a long while. And I was looking forward to playing the original game in preparation for this sequel, but now I'm being honest, I don't know about that. I don't know if it'll actually be worth it, because there's a lot of big red flags for this game, and that game is Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2. So this is a game that we covered a little bit on the channel. There was a really neat ARG for some kind of online game called Tender, and it's how you would track different people down as a vampire to pick your next targets, and it created this very creepy universe, and it felt like they were taking it seriously. Furthermore, they brought on Mitsoda, who was like the original mind of Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines when it released back in, I want to say, 2004. So there were a lot of really strong, encouraging signs for this game. I remember when the gameplay dropped for it, I went, okay, this looks solid enough. But it's just been downhill for about the last year. We made one video on it on how this game's in trouble. It's in even more trouble now. So if you're excited for more vampire stuff, just pump the brakes and let me go ahead, point you in the direction of Vampire. This is a vampire RPG set in London 1918. Is it as flexible as, say, a Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines? No, but it should give you a little bit of satiation, pardon the pun, for that vampire desire you've got. It's a wonderful game. I really love the main protagonist, Jonathan Reed. There's some cool choices you can make. The combat's enjoyable. It can be hit or miss for people, but I liked it. There's a lot to love about it. So if you're looking to fill that void, give Vampire a check. It is actually pretty cheap to pick up. So with all that out of the way, let's go into a brief recap, because I think for you to understand how monumental of a situation this is, we really need to show the build up. So let's go ahead and start off with pretty much the announcement of the game, right? 2019 is when this game is announced, and they said, hey, it's coming in 2020. And if you haven't noticed, it's 2021. It's actually almost a third of the way through 2021, which I don't like. Time is moving way too fast. I've got a lot to do. I got a lot of life left. I'm not a fan of this. Afterwards, there were lots of positional changes. For example, Mitsoda, the person that we were referencing from the original Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines, was fired as lead writer, and they also let the creative director of the game go, which are two of the main hearts of a game project, especially creative director. You can argue that, hey, maybe the script is done, the writing for quests is done, we can live without that, but still having the main guy who is driving this whole vision behind it gone is never encouraging, no matter their position. It gets worse though, because then in October of 2020, in the middle of a bunch of holiday games coming out, Paradox confirmed, and by the way, Paradox is the publisher of this game, that senior narrative designer Kara Ellison had left the project and was no longer working with Hardsuit, who, by the way, Hardsuit is the developer of Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2. And alongside that came more development updates, and you're starting to see a sign here that Paradox may be the guilty party, because they're either putting a lot of pressure on something they want, and they're doing every single thing in their power to make it happen. But let's just read what was a development update from many months ago, and how the perspective of this in the second half has really changed given today's news we're talking about. So that write-up starts off by saying, we're moving the launch of Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 to 2021. Our goal has always been to deliver the best possible game to immerse you in a Seattle reimagined in the world of darkness, and deliver a worthy successor to the original Bloodlines game. Due to the quality bar and ambitions we have set for ourselves, we've made the difficult decision that we need more time. This means that our goal to release in 2020 is no longer possible. Moving launch is one of the changes that we are making to ensure the best player experience possible. Here's where it gets interesting. This is not a decision taken lightly, nor is it the first option we considered. We will share more information in the coming months on launch timing and other organizational changes that will help us achieve this goal. Organizational changes. When I saw this, right, and a lot of us saw this, we thought, oh boy, that is usually not a good sign, because we were already seeing people leave Hardsuit Labs. We were seeing a lot of development issues ramp up, and all I'm saying is at some point in time there's going to be an expose on what exactly happened with the development of this game, but I'm sure we'll wait until a new developer has filled the shoes of Hardsuit Labs, because yes, they're out of the picture. Let's take another look at a development update from Paradox, and well, just Paradox actually. Morning everyone, as you have noticed, we've been keeping pretty quiet for a while. With this in mind, the first piece of news we have for you is to confirm Bloodlines 2 is still in development. Secondly, we have made the hard decision that Hardsuit Labs will no longer be leading the development of Bloodlines 2, which also means that we will not be releasing in 2021 as previously planned. By the way, this is just about a week ago, so they're already indefinitely delayed out of the year. Since we cannot at this time communicate a new release date, we've also decided to stop accepting pre-orders for the time being. This game is very important to us, and it is an ambitious project from the start. In order to meet our goals for it, we've come to the conclusion that a change is needed, and as a result, more development time is required. We'd like to take this opportunity to honor Hardsuit Labs for their efforts and thank them for their hard work on the project. The studio has done a tremendous job in laying the foundations for the game, and we hope that you, the community, will also appreciate their contribution to Bloodlines 2. We're thankful for your continuous support through the game's development. We understand how important this is to you, and we'd love to share more with you. As soon as we can, we'll let you know what the future development team of Bloodlines 2 will look like. Oh my god. Okay, dude. What in the hell? Okay, so I can't help but look at this from, like, number one, a business perspective, right? You've clearly poured a lot of resources into this. And is the game in such bad shape that releasing it would not allow you to try to recoup some assets on what seems to be a failed project? Would be sinking more money into it be the play? I know Paradox, by the way, has a really bad reputation for little, like, micro DLCs, tiny little packs here and there for like $1 each, and they really nickel and dime you the whole way through. And I'm starting to get concerned that that's what they wanted to do with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, and people like Brian Mitsoda were saying, no, that's not what's gonna happen here, and they kind of gave him the boot, and anyone who said no gave them the boot, and they said, you know what, this whole team doesn't want it, we're gonna give them the boot. Like, I'm not even trying to reach that hard. This sounds absolutely plausible because they have removed an entire development team, and now they've indefinitely delayed the game. Like this game was supposed to come out in 2020, apparently. 2020. And now they're saying it has been delayed out of 2021. They're completely changing this game. What you're seeing on screen right now, this is Masquerade Bloodlines 2 gameplay. What you're seeing right now is that. That is not going to be the game that you are playing whenever, if this ever does come out. That is the reality right there. This game is changing from top to bottom. And if I'm Brian Mitsoda, you know, once again, the guy who is really leading the charge for this game, the heart of Vampire the Bloodlines Masquerade, I mean, oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh, that must be entirely frustrating for him. Because at least there's some peace of mind saying, hey, at least some of the work I did on this project is going to be there, and when it comes out, I can sort of explain what happened behind the scenes and sort of provide the truth. And I'm, of course, assuming a worst case scenario with that, which I think is perfectly okay. But now it's in that position where it's going to be so different that he's going to be like, man, what happened to my son? This looks horrible. This all transpired about a little over a week ago, and since then there have been some major changes in Hardsuit Labs, the former developers of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. So what has happened there is there have been major layoffs now occurring at the studio, which certainly during this time period where we're still all working from home and it's difficult to find work and stuff, that layoffs, as always, are never good, but they're even worse now. So here are just a couple of tweets posted from various members of Hardsuit Labs, which I do hope they all get back on their feet and find work elsewhere. Anna says, I'm heartbroken to announce that I've been laid off from my position as a narrative designer at Hardsuit Labs, along with the rest of the narrative department and many others. All four of us are seeking new opportunities. Nicole Stanford said, hey y'all, so unfortunately there were layoffs at Hardsuit Labs and the entire narrative team, including myself, were affected. If you know about any writing or narrative design opportunities, I would greatly appreciate hearing about the opportunity. I've been working on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 and have a background writing for interactive stories, building an entire class on narrative design for students K through 12. I've been in the industry for a few years, having experience in leadership in QA at previous studios. Last but certainly not least is Austin. Unfortunately, I was a part of the Hardsuit layoffs today. It sucks and I'm pretty bummed about the whole thing, but I feel really good about the folks I met and the friends I made while there. If anyone is looking for a mid-senior level producer, hit me up. Because that's the really brutal nature of game development, is some people don't realize, I think, how many games are in development that we never hear of and that get cut. Like, even if they're very close, they just get shut down. And it's crazy how some games even make it out. And so that's why I'm not trying to be dramatic and trying to be all whoa, but these types of things here deserve attention, and they deserve the reaction of like, this is bad, because it like, what is happening, man? It's crazy. And the fact that they're not canceling the game outright, and in fact moving developers and indefinitely delaying it, to me either suggests they're sitting on way more money than I realize, or two, that they are repurposing this game and they are going to squeeze, I don't want to say microtransactions like loot boxes and stuff, but micro DLCs. And by that, I know you're like, what's the difference there? But what I mean is like this haircut, this quest pack. I'm telling you, man, like I remember reading Paradox has a knack for this stuff, and I get this feeling that to profit off a single player RPG, this is their path. Just watch, we will see. We're probably not going to hear about this game for a long while, so I thought this video, you know, I could get to it when I got to it, and I'm glad I waited because these layoffs happened days afterwards. So all right, that's about enough of that bad news. I hope you all feel more informed on the situation. Like I said, go support these developers at Hardsuit, see what they're up to. But also, if you're looking for that vampire RPG to satiate your desires, then please do give Vampire a look. It's one of my favorite RPGs of the last gen. Really good stuff, really good vibe to the game, excellent voice acting, pretty solid story. I mean, top to bottom, man, really good game. Especially the district system, based off choices you make, it'll impact all various NPCs and they can react to you differently. The conversation system is more in depth than most RPGs I've seen, especially for having voice characters. So it's really impressive. It elevates things in a lot of areas, and I appreciate it for that. But with all of that out of the way, I pass it off to you. What do you think of what's going on with Hardsuit Labs and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2? Let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Appreciate each and every single one of you, and I'll talk with you very soon. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.